I can't believe we had to leave the theater because of your germ thing, Dad.
It was disgusting. Dan, dust everywhere. Did you even see the guy at the concession stand? He had a cold sore.
So what? Everybody gets cold sores.
It's all right. Let's just enjoy a movie at home. No big deal. I've had enough stress today. I just want to relax.
What happened, honey?
Well, after my promotion, they're putting me on the 25th floor. Can you imagine how terrifying that is?
What's up with everyone today? Ollie, why aren't you wearing a shirt?
I hate all my shirts! They all have buttons. Buttons are gross and scary. I remember Grandma's button jar. It was disgusting and stinky smell, yuck! And there were spider webs everywhere. Spider, where? Where? I am scared!
Everyone calm down. Let's just watch the movie. Oh no, clowns again. Turn it off. Please, someone.
Having a phobia is nothing to be ashamed of. Steve Jobs, for instance, transformed the world due to his fear of buttons, leading to the creation of the touchscreen era.
We'll dive into phobia, different types, causes, historical context, medical aspects, and treatment options.
The word phobia begins through the ages, echoing from the depths of Hellenistic Greece. Phobia, born of Phobos, the god of fear, son of Ares and Aphrodite, the famous Greek gods. But it wasn't until the 17th century that its true form was recorded, taking shape as the suffix of hydrophobia. A peculiar condition gripped its victims with an inexplicable fear of water. Not just a simple aversion, but a paralyzing dread that seeped into every facet of life. This wasn't just any fear, it was an irrational terror of water. Victims couldn't swim or bathe, their throats seized with spasms. Swallowing became impossible, as if their very essence rebelled against the touch of liquid. Some even feared the sound of water or the mere sight of water. Scientists blamed animal bites, while wizards whispered of curses. In a desperate era of trial and error, some resorted to dangerous remedies. Wizards, in their folly, resorted to potions and poisons, grasping at straws in their bid to banish the phobia.
I can relate to that. On the night of August 26, 1819, Charles Lennox, 4th Duke of Richmond and newly appointed Governor General of British North America, discovered that he could not finish his wine. Accompanied by friends, Lennox had spent the day traversing the backwoods of the Ottawa River with the goal of establishing a new township named Richmondville in his honor. When at last the party set up camp and sat down to dinner, the Duke began to feel peculiar. Shunning a glass of claret, he is said to have remarked to his friend Colonel Cockburn,
"I don't know how it is, Cockburn, but I cannot relish my wine tonight as usual, and I feel that if I were a dog, I should be shot as a mad one."
By the morning of August 28th, his fear of fluids had become so general he could not bathe. When it was agreed he should try to get to Montreal by canoe to seek medical attention, he could barely bring himself to approach the river's edge. Finding within himself a desperate resolution, the Duke at last climbed into the boat, shouting,
Charles Lennox never yet was afraid of anything.
Almost immediately, however, the dread returned. Finding the shore near enough, Lennox jumped onto the bank and darted for the woods. When his companions caught up with him, they ushered him to a farmhouse nearby. But even the sound of the river was too much. They laid him down on a bed of straw. Within moments, Charles Lennox was dead. Deserved to know the Duke succumbed that day to the effects of a bite 2 months earlier from a rabid fox. Hundreds to thousands, hydrophobia death cases. Everywhere, USA, Great Britain, France, Austria, Prussia, parts of Poland, Germany, and Russia were reported annually. Till the year 1885, a pivotal moment dawned upon the landscape of science. A moment that would forever alter the course of medical history. It was the year when Louis Pasteur unveiled his groundbreaking discovery, the rabies vaccine, the first vaccine ever. And so, the realm of microbiology science was born. During that era, rabies went by the name Hydrophobia. The predominant fear following a bite from a rabid dog was the development of hydrophobia, which often led to fatal consequences.
Mad dogs and rabbits became his subjects as he delved into the mysteries of this dreaded disease. He subjected rabbits to the bite of rabid canines, testing and retesting, sacrificing countless lives in pursuit of a breakthrough. Through trial and error, Pasteur honed his technique. He discovered that injecting a weakened form of the rabies virus extracted from the spinal cords of infected rabbits could confer immunity. But it was not a simple process. It required meticulous refinement, with each injection growing progressively stronger, repeated over a span of 14 agonizing iterations. Despite his success in the laboratory, Pasteur hesitated to administer the vaccine to humans till a 9-year-old boy, grievously wounded by a rabid dog, 14 different bites, faced certain death without intervention. Pasteur accepted the challenge, knowing full well the weight of responsibility that rested upon his shoulders. The boy was at high risk to death. Administering the experimental vaccine to the young patient was a moment fraught with uncertainty. Yet it proved to be a turning point in medical history. Against all odds, the boy not only survived but thrived, emerging from the brink of death to reclaim the gift of life. Pasteur's rabies vaccine, though not a cure in the traditional sense, provided invaluable protection against a deadly threat. Its success heralded a new era in medicine, paving the way for further advancements in the field of microbiology and the development of life-saving vaccines that would transform the landscape of public health forever.
The primary distinction between phobia and fear lies in its irrationality and intense anxiety, which significantly disrupts daily functioning for a period exceeding 6 months. More than 500 types of phobias are categorized into 3 primary groups: specific, agoraphobia, and social phobia. There are 5 subtypes of specific phobia: environmental, fear of natural elements such as water, thunder, or trees; animals, fear of specific animals like dogs, horses, or frogs; medical, fear related to medical procedures such as injections, blood, or receiving medical care; situational, fear of specific situations like confined spaces or crowded places; others, fear of others' specific object such as underwater creatures or even food. Agoraphobia is being scared to go out home or your safe place, especially to where it might be hard to leave or where you might feel trapped. It's often connected with other fears and can go along with conditions like OCD or PTSD. Social phobia, also known as social anxiety disorder, is the fear of being judged by others. It involves worrying about how people will perceive your thoughts, appearance, behavior, and even simple things like how you eat or talk. This fear can become so overwhelming that you might avoid social situations altogether, leading to significant distress and disruption in your life. Phobia symptoms can indeed vary widely from person to person and can range from mild, like an upset stomach, to severe panic attacks that last for days or months.
When you spot something scary, like a spider, your eye doesn't directly see it. Instead, it catches light waves and sends them to the brain's thalamus. From there, the signal usually travels to the optic nerve for translation into an image. This process happens for all senses except smell. But when danger looms, like with a fear trigger, the signal takes a detour. Before reaching the optic nerve, the amygdala detects the threat, gearing up your body for fight or flight. It sends signals to the hypothalamus, which controls bodily functions. The hypothalamus then signals the pituitary gland, which releases hormones, to activate releasing of norepinephrine from the adrenal cortex on the kidneys. Norepinephrine amps up the nervous system, causing increased heart rate, respiration, blood glucose levels, tense muscles, and sharp senses, preparing you to react. All this occurs before your brain fully processes the image or sound, explaining those jumpy moments over harmless things like a feather. Your brain wants you prepared just in case. The hippocampus then records this fear memory for future reference, making it easier to recall scary things than mundane ones. Fun fact, why we can't recall information that we kept study for days, but we can recall the scary things easily? That's because it was saved with high level of norepinephrine. And recalling it will release norepinephrine too, which will activate fight or flight mood. Keep it aside for now, we will use it later in our discussion. Later, when it's safe, the rational prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain, helps regulate your body back to normal. However, in phobias, prefrontal cortex can't do it because the hippocampus keeps the body on high alert even without actual danger, creating a lasting fear response.
Why does this occur? The hippocampus transforms the neutral stimulus into a conditional stimulus. What does this mean? Let's consider an experiment. Imagine a mouse in a glass box. When the mouse receives an electric shock, it becomes fearful. This is the unconditional stimulus eliciting an unconditional response. Now, before administering the shock, ring a bell. This ringing bell is the normal stimulus. With repeated pairings, the mouse starts associating the bell with the shock, eventually becoming fearful at the sound of the bell alone. The neutral stimulus, bell, becomes a conditional stimulus, evoking a conditioned response. This process mirrors what happens in phobias, where individuals get stuck in a loop of conditioned fear.
Treatment options can be categorized into 3 pathways. 1. Creation of new safe memories. For instance, individuals with snake phobias may initially encounter snake-related stimuli, like snake leather products. Success rates hover around 50%, and may backfire if the patient is re-traumatized. 2. Pharmaceutical intervention. Utilizing medications like propranolol, a beta blocker, constitutes the pharmaceutical approach. 3. Deleting the bad memories. Pioneered by Dr. Merrill Kint, a psychology professor at the University of Amsterdam, this approach involves altering the fearful memories directly. Published in Biological Psychiatry in April 2015, Kint's study demonstrated a high success rate. Patients, typically arachnophobes in this instance, undergo repeated exposure to spiders over the course of a year while concurrently receiving propranolol. By inducing norepinephrine release and subsequently blocking its receptors, the fear-inducing memories are effectively reprogrammed. Remarkably, patients could interact with spiders, touch the spider within 4 days, eventually holding them with bare hands within 3 months, with long-lasting results. Unlike creating new memories, this technique involves revisiting and editing existing fearful associations.
Bonus tip. Rule 333. What to do if you have a panic attack right now? Remember the transformative power of the anxiety. 333 rule. Engage your senses. Observe 3 things you can see around you to anchor yourself in the present moment. Identify 3 sounds in your environment to divert your attention from anxious thoughts. Feel 3 sensations you can feel, such as the texture of an object or the warmth of sunlight, to ground yourself in your body. By practicing the anxiety 333 rule, you can regain control over your thoughts and emotions, easing the intensity of the panic attack and guiding yourself back to a place of calm and stability. Last statement here. Fear is like our built-in alarm system, alerting us to potential dangers and helping us stay safe. It's our body's way of saying, hey, pay attention. Fear motivates us to react quickly, avoid harm, and learn from past experiences. So, while it may feel uncomfortable, fear ultimately plays a vital role in keeping us alive and thriving in a sometimes unpredictable world.
Thank you for watching. I'm Ollie, and that's my family Dan, Bee, Sky, and Ted. If you like our family, please like and share and keep it tight-knit.